After a lot of struggle, we finally got this hose pulled through the 4-inch PVC. Now, this hose is quite flexible, much more flexible than the RAPIDAIR that I was thinking about using. That's right, I planned on using the RAPIDAIR system. That's what I had used in my other building, but I got to thinking about how stiff that tubing is on the RAPIDAIR system. It is really hard to bend that stuff. And as I thought more and more about it, talked about it with Dave, and then, just didn't think we could make that work. So then I reached out to my friends at discounthydraulichose.com, and I asked the support person there what they had for air. And they mentioned this, I believe it was K1134. I'll put a link to in the description. And this gives the flexibility and yet the reliability necessary for air. I chose a 3/4 inch size. I probably didn't need that big of a line, but with this way we'll have a lot of extra, in a sense, air storage within the line itself. Some people have talked about putting a tank inside the new shop here, but I think, if we have that big of a line, I think we should be fine.
So you must have read the NASCAR rule book then?
The NASCAR rule book?
Yes, so there's a famous story about a guy that was cheating the rules, and the rules never said...
It's time for a daily doubtable.
Yes, it is.
With Dave.
But the rule book never said how big the fuel lines could be. And so he put 2-inch fuel lines in the car, and the story goes that they found some other thing that they were upset about. And so he just says, okay, whatever, fires the car up, drives it back to his shop, no gas tank in it, because they had 2-inch fuel lines in it. Because he could carry an extra 3 gallons in the fuel lines.
But why didn't it have a gas tank?
Because they were checking the car out and they had dropped the tank to do something else.
Oh.
Yes. This is back with like the mechanical pumper on the engine and stuff. This is 70s and 80s.
Guys, I have to work with this all the time. You can do the validation of this particular story. Daily Doubtable with Dave.
I think that cat has gotten considerably more friendly since the other one disappeared.
Yeah, Bo is a lot more friendly because Bullseye is bullying him all the time, or bullying her all the time. In the process of pulling that hose over here, Dave, we messed up our internet cable.
We made a boo-boo.
Now, we're using the more flexible internet cable. It doesn't have the big nylon cross piece in it. There's a name for it. You guys will tell me the name for the extra nylon reinforcement in the wire. This one doesn't have it. Probably for this particular use case, we should have it.
Probably, but we kind of discussed it. Actually took all the entire lunch hour to figure out what we were going to do here. Yeah. And we just decided that we have more green wire on hand, so we might as well use it. If we tear it up again later on, we'll fix it then. But currently, the best we can figure is this is the only thing we're going to put through this pipe is the internet cable and the air. There's no reason to run air to the other shop. There's no other... Shop's got power, so we don't need to do that. There's nothing coming from it to go here, and there's nothing from here to go there, so...
Yeah, we'll have more room. We can put something else through, but for now, this is all we had in mind. So we're going to try to pull that internet cable back through and have that project maybe almost done. So what's interesting here is that we're using the very same hydraulic fittings, hose ends, that we would use for hydraulic hose. The hose is a lot different, but the fittings, the hose ends are the same. These are just the braided hose ends. This hose has nylon braids instead of steel braids. But the ends are the same. Now that also means that if you're ordering from Discount Hydraulic Hose, you can order the pre-built hose the same way that we're crimping our own here. You can just order and you specify which ends you want on each end. You can get this very same stuff as to what we're making here. So really the only advantage to what we're doing here is that we know the exact lengths that we want as we cut them. And that's not really a big deal because you could measure this out and get the lengths that you wanted. In retrospect, I wish I would have got the air-powered crimper.
Instead, he's got the Dave-powered crimper.
The Dave-powered crimper is working pretty well, so. It shifts into that lower gear, I guess I would say. And then it pumps a lot easier, doesn't it, Dave?
Well, it feels like it's not pumping at all sometimes. Still waiting on our light. I think this is the biggest hose we've ever crimped, isn't it?
I don't believe we've crimped a 3/4 before. You did tighten it up over here, right?
Yes. Well, it's clearly crimping. Yeah, that is tight.
Okay, hold it.
The light does work.
Light does work. Oh, hold it. Hold it.
You do something wrong?
No, I mean, it's crimped pretty tight. I'm kind of thinking maybe we want to take a look at it.
It's never been wrong before.
It's never done this style hose before.
There's that. We are about crimped all the way. As tight as she'll go, actually.
Yeah, let's let her off and look at it. My goodness, that looks almost perfect. In fact, it looks like it's almost crimped too much, doesn't it?
On a hydraulic hose, I would say yes.
That looks wonderful. So we put a connection point right up there, a T basically. The idea is we're going to tee outside, and we're probably going to put a connector outside at this point. Now we're making a second hose here. Dave's just got the green light on it. Perfect, Dave.
Looks good to me.
And so then we're going to stretch it out along here. I think we got a couple zip ties, might be just the easiest thing to tie that up there. We're going to put another connection right there and have it drop down into the wash bay here. We'll have an air inlet in the wash bay. Then we'll connect out of there, go up, and all the way down to basically the other end of the shop. Yeah, so we'll put this up here. Hopefully I can reach that from the stairway up there, and then I'll run that all the way down to the other end. Can you meet me down there, Dave, with Nifty?
I don't make any promises.
Yeah, Nifty has been a disappointment, but at the same time, it's been incredible to have. We've used it a lot. It's got some areas where it's not incredibly dependable. So glad I put in the attic access. I never even got 2 steps up.
Well, I'm at a height I can walk, so.
I'm going to tell you that you can't push the thing all the way, Dave.
That's not turned all the way.
I don't mean that. You don't push the lever all the way.
I didn't do that either.
You just start it.
I didn't do that either.
I'm trying to blame Dave, and I'm having difficulty. Because Nifty is just, we can turn up the idle a little bit again, because that's what's going on.
Yeah, I might bump her up a little bit.
You know, one thing that's fascinating to me is when people complain about my electrical wiring, they really don't complain about anything that matters. They complain about how I run the wires out here across the ceiling. I find that quite fascinating because honestly, no one cares. As soon as we get this ceiling in, no one will see it again. When they sent me the sample of the hose, I loved how flexible it was, but I also noticed that I thought it might potentially crimp, meaning, yeah, just bend too tight and crimp like a water hose. So I found this at Discount Hydraulic Hose as well. It's a hose protector, but it just slows the bends, right? So I can cut a piece of this, and that's what we're doing now, is just putting these at every bend or every place that we go over a truss or anything else that's questionable at all. Find it easy to cut. I'm just using these Nip-X wire cutters. The only problem is they're not quite long enough to get halfway. I need a little extra long one for Dave here going over my catwalk. See if there's any chance I can throw it up to him on the first try. I doubt it, but we'll try. Because you know, he's not so nimble at heights, so I'm gonna blame him. Look at that, Dave. So I don't know if you can see it. It may be too dark for you to see the hose protectors, but they really do keep it from bending. Notice he's not really worrying about where he's putting it on. He's just getting it wrapped around there. And once he gets it wrapped, it'll slide fairly easily as long as it's flat. It doesn't like to go around a curve, but it'll slide fairly easily once it's flat. Yeah, sometimes you have to So then, there we go. And there really is no chance for that to kink now.
You can tell me not to quit my day job, but that is my day job.
Oh, you do that kind of stuff on the trucks all the time?
Yes, yes, this is the same wrap, similar wrap on the back of the air lights for the cabs.
Sorry I didn't get any action shots on this, but I got the airline poked through the side of the wall here. We've got more to do on that. Yeah, we got something special to hang out here so that we can have access out between the two shops. Yeah, this is the small area in between the two shops. And I say small, this may be one of the bigger compromises we've had to make. I'll give you a look here. I've shown it on the renderings in the past, but this, you can see it for real. This shows just how narrow this is. I think it's 40 some feet between the buildings. I may want to move my fuel tanks. We'll see if they're able to stay there. They really probably don't take up too much space. But overall, this is a pretty narrow space, and it was a compromise I felt like I just had to make. I wanted to keep the shop as long as it is because of the Hotsy house, and then I wanted to be able to park on the other side of it with a nice long piece of equipment, hopefully truck and trailer. But at the same time, I didn't want the shop to protrude very much in front of the house. So it's a compromise we made. The positive part is I think this will be our work area. And for compact tractors, this is probably enough. It just won't be enough to like turn a truck and trailer. But the idea is this will be one of our work areas, and we take this big door. I've got a little more to talk about it, but when we open this big door, we'll have a little more space to work on that. So let me show you that. Now my door wasn't working, and I thought I had a serious problem. It turns out it wasn't a big deal at all. I don't know why I immediately jumped to this, but we put the spray foam on it and then it didn't work. Well, the spray foam I think only weighs just a few pounds. It's 2 pounds per square foot, right, per inch. So 6 pounds per square foot or something. It's not very much weight. But the issue really was that when we took this off the wall for spray foam over here, some wires came loose inside the box. It was actually a pretty good opportunity for me because I got to learn a little bit more of how it worked. It's a 24-volt system. But once I got all those wires hooked up again, it works beautifully. Anyway, this is going to be our work area out here. So on nice days, we'll be able to open this door and be able to get back and forth between the two shops. We'll have plenty of area to work in here. I think it'll be a decent compromise. Not perfect, but decent. A reminder, if you're interested in a door like that, go to ibeamdoor.com. Tell the folks there that I sent you. Quite an amazing door, actually. It's all electric instead of hydraulic, so there's no danger of it coming down on its own. If the power goes out, it just stops. Well, actually there's a battery, so even if the power goes out, it'll go on down. But if it loses power for some reason, yeah, I think you get the picture. We've got a couple of holes here in the concrete. They're going to be behind the wall here. We've filled them with R10 foam, but I'm going to poke holes in that and put two 2-inch chases all the way up to the top. And I'm going to put a T right here. So the chase will go all the way up to the ceiling, but the T is going to go right here so that I'll have access to the crawl space. I'll have access to the attic of the shop and to the attic of the office space, and by extension the whole house that way. So these chases should be able to tie everything together. If we need to run additional electric, the chase will go right up here, and then I can go through the attic and down to this box over here. So I think everything will work on that. Who knows? I may not be thinking far enough ahead, but I'm trying. And this is the difficult part about putting these walls on. It feels somewhat final, right? Here's the airline coming down that we're going to attach to the lift, and notice the hose protection on there just prevents any sort of kink. For now, that hose is just in a pile along with the electric to run the lift. We'll worry about that later. Got some bad news about the big garage doors. They are ordered, but they've been delayed a little bit. Apparently we asked for a special color and they don't run that color very often. They're not going to be here till mid-December. Hopefully we'll be able to get them installed before Christmas. Meanwhile, I did get some tarps and we may be able to hang up some temporary doors. The walls should be installed here over the next couple of weeks. Well, it's Thanksgiving week now. We're getting ready to leave for our Thanksgiving travel any moment now, and just take a couple of days off with family. And to that end, we'd like to wish you happy Thanksgiving and take some time. It's easy to get overworked. We've kind of got overbooked all year this year with some things we planned like this and some things we didn't plan, as you know if you've watched our channel. I said the last episode would be the last one before we put interior ceiling and walls. Well, hopefully this one is indeed, but there continues to be more items come up that I've either forgot about or I just haven't had time to get to get finished before the ceiling gets put in. I will say that the next episode or two are going to be dramatically different and little tractor topics that I think are going to challenge your thinking about compact tractors going forward. So come back for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Yeah, Bullseye's getting a little special treatment. He's getting to live in the house while he's got that broken leg. It's not going to last forever.